Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it by going through every season in the Super Bowl era and hopefully improving upon it. We simply spin a wheel with all the teams' names on it, then spin an arrow to see what direction they will take from their place on the map. Landing on another team's territory will give us that game. For a more thorough breakdown of how imperialism works, be sure to check out the beginning of our initial video of the 1966 season. That is linked down in the description below. Beneath that is a link to the imperialism playlist consisting of all completed imperialism seasons to date. Otherwise, we are ready to start. We've made our way to the 2022 season, where after a year away from the Super Bowl spotlight, the Kansas City Chiefs got themselves right back into it by winning their third AFC Championship in 4 seasons. They won the Super Bowl with that first appearance before suffering defeat in their second one. This time around, they found themselves champions of the world once again with a victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. The game itself wasn't without controversy, specifically around the field conditions and the effect that had on the Eagles' historic pass rush. There was also a somewhat questionable late holding call on the Eagles' defense that allowed Kansas City to drain the clock before hitting the game-winning field goal. This all led many people to believe that the better team didn't win, which, when looking at our rankings, isn't such a stretch. The Eagles check in at number 2, with the Chiefs left at number 5. The 2 conference title game losers, the 49ers and the Bengals, also occupy the top 5. But for the second season in a row, it's the Buffalo Bills at number 1. The bottom 5 is no fun place to be, but here are its residents, led by the lowly Houston Texans. Even with the Chiefs reigning as Super Bowl champions, every team in the top 5 has a redemption story to tell. Will one of them get that redemption, or will someone else rise up and take down the title? There's only one way to find out. Imperialism 2022 begins now. Our first spin in the wheel is going to give us a close call. It's just going to hit the Ravens. And the NFC champions are going to be the first team to take the field this season. The Eagles will host Baltimore. We will once again be placing the Baltimore Ravens in the uniforms of the Green Bay Packers. We're tied at 3 in the second quarter. The Eagles are in the Ravens' red zone. Jalen Hurts is going to go to A.J. Brown in the back of the end zone. Touchdown Philly, the first touchdown of this game, giving them a 10-3 lead. From this point forward for the Ravens, it's the Devin Duvernay show. He is having a monstrous game on the edge, making catches deep downfield. That particular drive didn't lead to any points, but Duvernay picks it up right where he leaves off later in the game. This is in the third quarter now. Duvernay has gotten himself well over 150 yards receiving. He has helped move the Ravens down to the 8-yard line, where it's 2nd and 6. After all of Duvernay's work, Demarcus Robinson said, "I'm taking the touchdown." He goes up and makes the catch. The extra point here is good, and the Ravens have tied things up at 10 apiece. Gardner Minshew is in the game for an injured Jalen Hurts. He has time in the pocket here, but he holds it for too long, and Calais Campbell gets him down for the sack. The Ravens have a chance to take advantage here from the Eagle 45-yard line. Lamar Jackson goes to Demarcus Robinson, makes himself a nice catch down to the 13-yard line. How can the Ravens maneuver themselves into the end zone here? On second down, they hand off to Kenyon Drake, but Darius Slay is able to knock the ball loose, taking away an easy scoring opportunity there for the Ravens. The Eagles have now moved it up to the 41-yard line. There's only 2:04 left in the game. Minshew is going to look deep for A.J. Brown, but he goes too deep. It's incomplete. The Eagles are going to bring out Jake Elliott for a 59-yard field goal attempt. He certainly has the leg for it, but the kick is going to hook to the left. No good, and now the Ravens have excellent field position once again. The only part of their offense that's really worked today has been going to Duvernay, so Jackson does it again. With 20 seconds left in the game, they're in field goal range, but they might be looking for a little bit more. Instead, they're going to take the sack, knocked back 10 yards, they're going to try again, and take another sack. With that, the clock is going to run out, and this game's heading to overtime, tied at 10 apiece. The Ravens are going to get it first at their own 32-yard line. Lamar doesn't like what he sees and takes off running, and he has gotten himself into Eagles territory, but it's Darius Slay once again forcing the fumble. Philly recovers and are getting a pretty good return out of this into Ravens territory and a little bit more. They're taken down at the 42-yard line. They've now moved it to the 28. This is comfortable field goal range, but Gardner Minshew is going to take his shot, and A.J. Brown's going to catch it for the touchdown, putting this game to bed. Minshew certainly didn't show out his best today, but he made it count at the end, and it's nice to have A.J. Brown back there catching his second touchdown pass, giving the Eagles the overtime victory, 16-10. The Eagles winning this game when they weren't at their best is potentially a bad sign for other teams moving forward. They will take over the Ravens' territory, and game number 1 is in the books. We're looking to get right back on the field here. The wheel lands on the Detroit Lions. They head directly west. That's going to take them to Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. We pick up the action in the third quarter. The Lions lead 10-7. Aaron Rodgers goes to Robert Tonyan, rediscovering their magic from 2020 Imperialism. He gets it down into Lions territory. We are at the 34-yard line. Rodgers will drop back the pass. Might want to go a little deeper this time to Allen Lazard. Gets away from his defender and scores the touchdown. That's going to put the Packers into the lead at 14-10. The Lions have got themselves a drive going. They're set up at the Packer 22-yard line. This is first down. Jared Goff looks for Jamal Williams. He's held up at the 11, but breaks away and gets into the end zone. The former Packer comes back to haunt his team just a little bit, giving the Lions a 17-14 lead. Still in the third quarter, the Packers are in Detroit territory. The Lions back up their defense. Rodgers wants to throw anyway. He's going to go deep to Lazard, makes the catch, and gets taken down at the 10-yard line. On a goal-to-go situation here from the 7-yard line. It's third down. Rodgers will look again for Lazard. Makes a diving catch for the touchdown. Coming up huge for Green Bay here, giving them a 21-17 lead. Detroit has now moved into Green Bay territory. From the 42, the pitch goes to Williams. Gets to the sideline, running downfield, breaks a tackle, gets taken down at the 18-yard line. Detroit will now be facing a third down from the same spot. Jared Goff has time in the pocket, but this pass to Brock Wright is incomplete. So on 4th and 10, 2:41 left in the game, they're going to go for it. They're lined up in the shotgun. The Packers change the defense. Detroit will call an audible. They're going to run Jamal Williams up the middle. He fights ahead, dives forward for the first down. It's now second and goal from the 10 after a loss of yardage. Goff is going to go to Khalif Raymond. He will make the catch over the defense. Touchdown Detroit, once again putting them back in the lead at 24-21. It's now Green Bay's turn to respond. 1:38 remains in the game. This is 3rd and 13. Rodgers is going to take off. He has a chance for the first down here, but he stopped just short, bringing up a 4th and 2. They're going to run Aaron Jones off right tackle. He's got the first down, and he's going to wind up getting them into field goal range, or at least the edge of field goal range, with now only 29 seconds remaining. From the 24, the quick slant goes to Allen Lazard, makes the catch. They measure for the first down. That's not really relevant at this point because Green Bay is going to go ahead and send Mason Crosby out for a 30-yard field goal attempt. that would tie this game and put it into overtime. Crosby comes at it really quickly, and he's going to wind up missing the kick, and that's going to give Detroit the road victory 24-21. Technically speaking here, our first two games involved the Green Bay Packers losing. Of course, in the first one, it was really the Ravens. The Lions will take over the Packers' territory. This was the season Detroit started to emerge a little bit. They weren't there yet, but they're capable of making some noise. Time to take things out west. The wheel's going to land on the LA Chargers. They're going to head to the northwest to take on the LA Rams. The Chargers are handling business here, leading 16-6 in the third quarter. From the 8-yard line, Justin Herbert finds Gerald Everett for the walk-in touchdown. That's going to boost the Charger lead up to 23-6. They didn't have too much of a problem in this one, winning it by the interesting final score of 32-13. The Chargers got that 32 with a safety and 3 field goals to go along with their 3 touchdowns. After back-to-back close games, not so much on this one. The Chargers will take over the Rams' territory, beating them for the first time since their return to LA. It looks like the Eagles are going to be invaded once again. The wheel lands on the Jets, sending them to the northwest and into Philadelphia. Philly's having an easier time in this one, already leading 10-0 in the third quarter. Jalen Hurts is going to keep it himself and get his way into the end zone. Touchdown for the Eagles gives them a 17-0 lead. They maintain the shutout until the very end of the game, but they're able to hold on to win it 27-6. With that victory, the Eagles will take over the Jets' territory. They're not picking up huge swaths of land, but they are the first team this season with 2 victories. We got in our first round of expansion this season, but now we've got our game ready. The Atlanta Falcons go on the road to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. From the Jacksonville 10, leading 7-0 in the second, the Falcons run Tyler Algier off to the right. He gets by a defender and makes his way into the end zone for the touchdown. That's going to give Atlanta a 14-0 lead. They actually led 24-0. Jacksonville made some noise before Atlanta pulled away in the fourth to win this one 38-15. Just another game between the Falcons and the Jaguars. With the victory, Atlanta takes over the Jaguars' territory, inching their way into Florida. We've got a close call on the wheel here, Niners or Dolphins. It's the Dolphins. That means they're heading straight up to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Dolphins start off with pretty good field position after a good opening kick return. On their first offensive play, though, Tua Tagovailoa is going to throw this interception to Jamel Dean. That puts the Buccaneers in good starting field position. They've moved it even closer, and Chris Godwin's going to catch this touchdown pass. Tampa's going to jump out to a 7-0 lead. Can Miami shake off the turnover and get going on their next drive? They do have to settle for a field goal here, but Tagovailoa is going to pick up and run with it, and he gets around the defenders and gets in for the touchdown. A fake field goal that works. How about that? That will tie this game up at 7 apiece. It is now in the second quarter. The Bucs have moved it to the 8-yard line. Leonard Fournette takes the pitch, cuts back inside, and gets his way into the end zone. The Bucs respond right back and take a 14-7 lead. We're now in the third quarter. Miami's going to start off at their own 20-yard line. Everyone lined up wide. Tua waits in the pocket. He's going to go deep to running back Raheem Mostert. Goes up and makes an incredible catch. That's going to lead to a Dolphin field goal. Tampa now has it at their own 46-yard line. The Dolphins come after Tom Brady, and they get him down for the sack. That is Zach Seiler. But in perhaps bigger news, Tampa's going to lose Tom Brady for the rest of this game. Blaine Gabbert's going to come in as his backup. They wind up punting, and Miami has now moved it to their own 43. Very little time left in the third. Tua wants to go deep to Raheem Mostert once again, and he will make another deep catch. Mostert had over 100 yards receiving in this game. Now from the 14-yard line in the fourth, Mostert takes the draw, cuts it to the outside, and gets in for the touchdown. Miami has taken their first lead of the game at 17-14. The defense gets them the ball back again. They're in Tampa Bay territory. Tua will drop back, goes for Jalen Waddle, gets away from his defenders, has a chance to score here, but they get him down at the edge of the goal line. Miami will get their touchdown here. Tyreek Hill, the new Dolphin, gets the score. So with only 2:31 left in the game, they lead by 10 points. Tampa's getting on the comeback trail though. Blaine Gabbert starts to warm up a little bit from their own 22-yard line. He wants to throw this up to Russell Gage, and Gage will go up and make the catch, taken down at midfield. There's still light at the end of the tunnel here. From the 30-yard line now, they get the ball in Godwin's hands on a reverse. He's able to get around the corner, getting his shiftiness on. He's able to spin away from a tackle and score the touchdown. So there's 1:09 left on the clock. Tampa Bay's cut this down to 24-21. It all depends on the onside kick here. It gets laid down, and before it can hit the ground a second time, Tampa recovers. This is real now. 48 seconds remaining. Out of the shotgun, Gabbert goes deep to Chris Godwin. He will make the catch and score the touchdown. With only 28 seconds remaining, the Bucs have retaken the lead. Not enough time for Miami to do anything about it. And this exciting game with an exciting fourth quarter ends with Tampa Bay winning 28-24. The Dolphins were a playoff team this season. So too were the Buccaneers, but they did so with a losing record, but as NFC South champions. They found a way to win this one though. They will take over the Dolphins' territory, and they will take over the Dolphins station as the resident cul-de-sac of this map. Our reigning Super Bowl champions, and incidentally our defending Imperialism champions, are ready to take the field. The Kansas City Chiefs will play host to the Chicago Bears. KC's held the lead for the entire game, but they haven't been able to put the Bears away yet. This play might do it though. Travis Kelce catches the ball up the seam, and the Bears appear to be giving him an escort into the end zone. That touchdown by the Chiefs is going to give them a 28-13 lead. But perhaps inspired by watching Tampa's comeback, Chicago's trying one of their own. From the 7-yard line, Justin Fields is going to find Darnell Mooney camped out in the end zone for the touchdown. That'll make it a one-possession game at 28-20, but it's going to depend on the onside kick. The Bears are going to lay it down. They can't converge on it as quickly as Tampa, but they're still able to recover it. Might we see this in back-to-back games? 50 seconds left from the 44. Justin Fields is going to try to force this pass. That's Khalil Herbert on the receiving end, supposedly in a huge mismatch with superstar corner L'Jarius Sneed. Sneed makes the interception, gets himself a decent return. Kansas City doesn't need to do anything from this point forward. They're going to win this one 28-20. The Bears once again prove they're not an easy out, but they are out. The Chiefs will take over their territory, and their march to an Imperialism repeat is on. After over 2 years, the Washington football team finally came up with a name. They're the Commanders now, and they're heading to Philly to take on the Eagles. The Eagles hold a 14-point lead in the third quarter from the Washington 13. Hurts is going to find Dallas Goedert, found a soft spot in the zone for the touchdown. That'll give the Eagles now a 35-14 lead. They would not relent, and by the time it was over, they come out with a 49-14 victory. The only thing they commanded was an ass kicking. The Eagles will take over Washington's territory, and they seem to be growing in their strength with each passing game. We're always going to be okay with an easy wheel spin. It lands on the Buccaneers. No need for the arrow. They head to Atlanta to face the Falcons. Down by 8 into fourth, the Falcons are forced to go for it on 4th and 18. This is Vita Vea stripping the ball loose, and Raheem Nunez-Roches is going to pick it up and run it all the way back in for the score. That's going to give Tampa Bay a fairly commanding lead at 21-6. But Atlanta is going to keep fighting back. Time's not on their side. 1:16 left in the game. From the 8-yard line, this quick pass goes to Drake London. He's able to get the touchdown. 1:07 now remains in the game. The Falcons will convert a 2-pointer here and make this a 21-14 game. Once again, it's going to come down to the onside kick, but the Buccaneers are experts at recovering these. They get that one, they run out the clock, and they win it 21-14. Like we mentioned earlier, the Buccaneers had a losing record this season, but they were still division champions, a division that included the Falcons. Tampa will take over Atlanta's territory, and they've gotten themselves their second win this season. We're going to be getting a game in the Northeast that doesn't involve the Eagles. The wheel barely hits the Giants. Instead of going to the number 2 team in our rankings, they're going to the number 1 team. They're heading to Buffalo to face the Bills. Buffalo's maintained control of this game, leading by 7 in the third quarter. From the 3-yard line, Josh Allen calls his own number, dives into the end zone for the touchdown. That's going to extend Buffalo's lead out to 28-14. The Giants were feisty in this one, but they never could get too close to the Bills. Buffalo wins it 38-28. In this, our 10th game of the 2022 season, the Buffalo Bills are officially on the board. The Bills will take over the Giants' territory, and with the way this looks, an Eagles-Bills matchup at some point looks very likely. We're getting a close call on the wheel and on the arrow. It's going to be the Chargers, and the photo finish is going to give them probably their less desired location here. LA's heading over to San Francisco to face the 49ers. It's 14-3 Niners in the second quarter. This pitch goes to Christian McCaffrey. He gets around right end and gets into the end zone, sneaking inside the pylon for the touchdown. That's going to extend San Francisco's lead to 21-3, and they were pretty merciless throughout all of this. They win it, somewhat appropriately, by a score of 49-6. The Chargers were able to get a win earlier in this Imperialism, but number 2 was not to be. The 49ers take over the Chargers' territory, turning the state of California red. The Dallas Cowboys are being invaded by a bottom 5 team. The Arizona Cardinals are coming to town. Dallas already leads this game 24-6 in the third quarter. Tony Pollard's going to take the pitch and run it in for another Cowboy touchdown. They extend their lead to 31-6. They put their foot on Arizona's throat and never took it off. They win this game 45-13. We've got another blowout on our hands. The Cowboys will take over the Cardinals' territory, and we're left with 20 teams remaining. The Dallas Cowboys are once again being invaded by a bottom 5 team, this time the bottom team. The Houston Texans are coming to town in the uniforms of the New York Giants. This is a much closer game though. Dallas leads by 6 in the fourth quarter. The delayed handoff goes to Ezekiel Elliott. He's able to leap into the end zone for the touchdown. That's going to give Dallas a 27-14 lead and puts them in excellent position to get this game over with as Houston faces a 4th and 23. But Davis Mills has time in the pocket, goes up to Jordan Akins. He's going to make the catch. We've seen these kinds of comebacks in this season's Imperialism. Some successful, some not. Let's see what Houston can do. Mills is going to go deep to Imperialism stalwart Brandon Cooks. A diving catch in the end zone for the touchdown. Houston cuts it to 27-21, and it's going to depend on the onside kick. The ball is loose. Dallas makes the recovery, runs out the clock, and holds on to win this one 27-21. The Texans were a determined bunch and they put up quite a fight, but they couldn't pull it off in the end. The Cowboys will take over their territory, notching their 2nd consecutive win. With only 3 teams remaining out west, 2 of them are ready to get it on. The 49ers head to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. The 49ers have dominated this game from the start with a 21-3 fourth quarter lead. That is wide back Deebo Samuel taking the pitch out of the backfield and running it in for the score. That adds to his receiving touchdown from earlier in the game. The Niners take a 28-3 lead and they win 31-3. Easy does it for the Niners in their 2 games this season. They will take over the Raiders' territory, and only the Seahawks remain with them out west. That was a close call on the wheel between 2 teams that border the Lions. It did select the Browns, and they're heading to Detroit. Justin Jackson receives the game's opening kickoff. The Browns are getting on top of him, and Greg Newsome's going to force this fumble, and the Browns immediately take possession of the ball to start the game. Nick Chubb is going to follow that up with this draw play for a touchdown. Cleveland gets ahead by a score of 7-0. The teams exchange touchdowns. It's 14-7, and now Jerome Ford is back to receive this punt. The Lions jump right on top of him, forcing the ball loose, and that is big man, great offensive lineman Penei Sewell picking the ball up and running it back in for the touchdown. We've tied things up at 14 apiece. Cleveland's got on the move now. They've crossed into Detroit territory. The pitch goes out to Kareem Hunt, gets to the outside, gets around the secondary, picks up a nice gain close to the 20-yard line. Now a little closer in, Hunt's the hot hand, so they give it to him again, and he rolls in for the score. This has been quite a shootout so far. Turnovers and good offensive play makes this a 21-14 game. Detroit's pulled back a field goal, and Cleveland's on the move now in the 3rd quarter. Up by 4, Jacoby Brissett is going to look for Amari Cooper. His defender was right with him, and then Cooper got right past him. Touchdown, Cleveland, making it 28-17. Detroit adds another field goal. Not really a way to keep up in this game. They're down by 8 late in the 3rd quarter. The handoff here goes to Nick Chubb. Cuts inside, breaks a tackle, cuts back out, and gets it into the red zone and a little beyond, down at the 12-yard line. We move to the 4th quarter. Nick Chubb scores this touchdown, just like he scored his first one, off a draw, making this a 35-20 game. In this season's Imperialism, these leads aren't safe, and Detroit has gotten going. They're at the Cleveland 13-yard line. Jared Goff goes quickly to Khalif Raymond, makes the diving catch for the touchdown. The extra point's going to make this 35-27, and with about 2.5 minutes left, Detroit can kick it away or go onside. They're going to kick it away, hoping Cleveland goes very conservative on offense. Donovan Peoples-Jones gets held up quickly, and he will also fumble. Alex Anzalone forces it loose. The Lions pick it up, and they have a chance to run this back, but they they get taken down at the 1 yard line. Now, I had a problem with the film here. This is a touchdown to Brock Wright. You're going to see the cursor come on the screen here. This is me trying to figure out what happened. But Detroit scored on the touchdown pass there. And with over a minute left to go in the game, they're going to go for the extra point instead of going for 2. That's just how the AI for this game from 1995 works. The kick is almost blocked, but they get it in. Detroit has quickly turned this into a 1-point deficit. Now they will surely be going for the onside kick. Michael Badgley lays it down. The Lions converge and they've got it. Might they complete this incredible comeback? Minute 34 on the clock, they're in no hurry. The pitch goes to Jamal Williams. He picks up a first down. They're outside field goal range, but not by a whole lot. On the next play now from the 40-yard line. This time they're running DeAndre Swift, and he will get them in the field goal range. Comfortable range at that, but Denzel Ward will force yet another fumble. The Browns are able to pick it up, sit on the ball, and run out the clock to win this game 35-34. Each team lost 2 fumbles in this game, with each subsequent fumble being more damaging than the next. That last one by DeAndre Swift is going to haunt him for sure. The Browns are going to take over the Lions' territory. Cleveland will certainly be happy with the win, but they need to be wary going forward of giving up such a big lead. By definition, the bottom 5 only has 5 teams, yet the Cowboys are set to now face their 3rd team from that group. This time they're taking to the attack, going into Denver to play the Broncos. The Cowboys have been a bit of a mess in this game, but they're still tied at 7 in the 4th quarter. Off the rollout, Dak Prescott finds his tight end Dalton Schultz for the touchdown. That's going to give Dallas a 14-7 lead. They were able to get it figured out some in the 4th quarter here. They add one more and win this game 21-7. The Cowboys were a very good team in 2022. They were 12-5 NFC East champions, and they won a playoff game. Imperialism hasn't really tested them, but all you can do are play the teams that are on the field with you. They will take over the Broncos' territory, and we've cut this Imperialism field in half. We're skipping the expansion this time. The wheel selects the Titans, and this arrow only needed to go slightly northward in order to hit the Colts' territory, and that's just what it's done. Tennessee heads to Indy. The Titans find themselves down by 2 points in the 3rd quarter. This run up the middle goes to Derrick Henry, slithers through the defense and is turning on the speed. He's going to show off some agility here as well. Never mind the power that he has. Derrick Henry goes right up the middle for a 71-yard touchdown. Tennessee has taken the lead at 21-16. Not only do they not let go of the lead, they pour it on in the end. They win this game 35-16. Not shown here was the performance of the Titans defense, which took the Colts down for 9 sacks. They will take over the Colts territory, and the bottom 5 went 0-5 this season. Our next spin lands on the 49ers. They've had 2 big victories this season, but going to Seattle is going to present a new challenge. DK Metcalf is proving a problem for the Niners. In the 1st quarter alone, he scores these 2 touchdowns. The Niners got one in between, so Seattle currently leads this game 14-7. The DK show will continue. He makes this deep catch that leads to a field goal. The Seahawks now force a punt, being returned here by DJ Dallas, but the Niners are able to strip the ball loose. They're going to pick this up and run it back in for the score. On Seattle's next possession, the Niners force the ball loose from Geno Smith, pick it up and run it down to the 3-yard line. That will lead to this touchdown catch by George Kittle. So the Niners have fought back, forcing a couple of turnovers, taking the lead in this game at 21-17. Seattle's up again, and they're in Niner territory, facing a 3rd and 4. What else are they going to do? They go to DK Metcalf. The Niners are nope, they cannot bring him down. Metcalf goes in for his 3rd touchdown, giving Seattle a 24-21 lead. But the Niners offense has gotten on the move now. They're facing a 3rd down from the Seattle 14. This pitch goes out to Christian McCaffrey. They get a hold of him, but he breaks away and gets in for the score. And the Niners have gotten the lead back here at 28-24. Seattle has plenty of time for a comeback. They're facing a 3rd down in Niner territory again, but they're going to run this to Travis Homer, and that loses yardage. And despite being in 49er territory, Seattle is going to punt this ball away. 4th and 7, not unmanageable. The Niners have a chance to block it. They do not. The punt sails into the end zone for a touchback. Seattle's not going to see this ball again in this game. The Niners drain out the entire clock, score one more touchdown, and win it 35-24. The Seahawks really have nobody to blame but themselves for that loss. The Niners get win number 3. They take over the Seahawks territory. They own the entire West Coast and a good portion of the Northwest as well. We're going to be getting a photo finish here. The wheel selects the Buccaneers. The arrow means it's going to be either Tennessee or Carolina, and that's shifted enough to the west to be Tennessee. The Bucs are going to be at the Titans. The Titans have been controlling this game mostly by pounding Derrick Henry at the Bucs defense. But here they're going to throw to Robert Woods for the touchdown. The Titans lead now 21-10 in the 4th quarter. They quickly get the ball back from the Tampa offense and kick this long field goal from Randy Bullock. It almost gets blocked, but from 45 yards away, it's up and good. The Buccaneers score as time expires to make this look a little closer. The Titans win 24-17. The Titans were a 7-3 team in 2022 before losing 7 in a row to end the year. Maybe we're getting that first half of the season version instead of the second half. They will take over Tampa Bay's territory, and I guess we can say goodbye to Tom Brady and imperialism. No rest for the weary. The Titans are selected again, and with that arrow going straight north, it's going to be hitting the territory of the Carolina Panthers. The Titans don't so much dominate teams as they do bully them, and the guy leading the charge is Derrick Henry. Bowls right over a defender. I kind of don't blame that other guy for not wanting to get too close to him. Henry's able to run this in for a touchdown. Late in the first half, the Titans lead this game 21-7. It stayed pretty steady in the second half. They cruised to a 28-17 victory. And with that victory, the Titans will take over the Panthers' territory. They become the 4th team this season to notch 3 victories, joining the 49ers, Cowboys, and Eagles. We're ready for a new team to take the field. The Minnesota Vikings will be invading the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs' offense has been on point in this game, leading 21-7 in the 3rd. Isaiah Pacheco will run it in from 3 yards out to further extend that lead. Kansas City is up by a score of 28-7. A lot of back and forth action to end this one. The Chiefs had it in control though, and they win 42-28. We saw Pacheco's touchdown. What we didn't see were Travis Kelce's 3 touchdowns in this game to go along with 127 yards receiving. The Chiefs will take over the Vikings' territory, and they certainly remain as one of the favorites. With the other team from Pennsylvania being as active as they've been, it's time to get the Steelers onto the field. Unfortunately for them, they're heading to Buffalo to play the Bills. Buffalo holds on to a 17-7 lead in the 3rd quarter. From the 32-yard line, Josh Allen looks deep for Gabe Davis. Had a step on his defender the whole way. The pass was right where it needed to be. Davis hauls it in for the score. Buffalo gets out to a 24-7 lead, and this was an easy one for them. They win 38-10. Pittsburgh's been involved with some wild games in the past few Imperialisms. This one was just the beatdown. The Bills will take over their territory, and we're now down to just 10 teams remaining. We mentioned earlier there were 4 teams with 3 victories each. Well, 2 of them are taking the field now. The Philadelphia Eagles will travel to face the Tennessee Titans. Philly gets the ball first, set up at their own 35-yard line. This draw play goes to Miles Sanders. The Titans seem to have him wrapped up, but he's able to break away, and there's only one defender who can stop him. Sanders is fighting his way off and does get away and is able to score the touchdown. What looked like a short gain turned into a 65-yard score. The Eagles lead 7-0, and their running game was doing this just about the whole way through. They dominate on their way to a 35-11 victory. The Titans had shown out so far in this season's Imperialism, but they hadn't met a team like the Eagles. Philly will take over their territory. Of our remaining 9 teams, 3 have yet to play. While the Saints have gotten in an expansion, the Patriots, of course, and the Bengals remain in the exact spot where they started. We went through a long round of expansion there, but we finally landed on a game. Now, we've mentioned that the Cowboys have only beaten bottom 5 teams this season. Now they're playing not only a top 5 team in the 49ers, but the team that eliminated them from the playoffs in 2022. They will be hosting this game. The Niners trail 10-3 late in the first half, facing a 3rd and goal. Jimmy Garoppolo tries to escape the pocket, but Leighton Vander Esch takes the ball away from him, and he is also going to recover this, stopping the Niner threat. It remains 10-3 in the 3rd. Dallas is in 49er territory. Dak Prescott looks to his main receiver, CeeDee Lamb. Perfect throw, perfect catch, right in the middle of the star in the end zone for the touchdown. Dallas gets out to a 17-3 lead. They led 20-3 before finally settling on a 23-9 victory. Until the 4th quarter, that lost fumble by the Niners was the only sustained drive they had in the game. Leighton Vander Esch was a problem. Micah Parsons was an even bigger one. The Cowboys will take over the 49ers territory, and with Utah somehow sitting there unclaimed, the best way we could figure to get the Cowboys into the center of this landmass was to minimize their logo. This spin of the wheel is just going to miss the Browns, but in hitting the Bengals, the Browns are going to get on the field as Cincinnati is on the march. This game had some back and forth action in the first quarter. Joe Mixon gets that touchdown for Cincy. Amari Cooper responds for Cleveland. Then off the reverse, T. Higgins is going to get his way in for the Cincinnati touchdown. That's going to make this a 14-7 game. The action slowed down some, and Cincy now leads 14-10 in the 3rd quarter. Cleveland gets a good kick return to start the quarter, and now Jacoby Brissett will find Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's a first down and quite a bit more. They're in striking distance now. They've moved up even closer now at the 4-yard line. The Bengals are going to back up the defense, but Cleveland's going to throw anyway, and this is Amari Cooper, making only his 2nd catch of the game, but they've both been for touchdowns. Cleveland takes the lead at 17-14. Cincinnati is going to punt here. Their offense is still kind of stuck, but so is their punting game. Cleveland don't even let them get it off. They've got a chance to take a 10-point lead here. Brissett is going to once again look for Amari Cooper. I think that pass was so far off, it's hard to tell. Eli Apple makes the interception for Cincinnati. Can they now get their offense into gear? It's 2nd and 8 deep in their own territory. It's tough when Myles Garrett's coming after you. He will eventually get Joe Burrow down for the sack here, setting up a 3rd and very long for the Bengals. If they don't get this, they're not forced to go for it. We're still in the 3rd. They check into a new play. They're having trouble getting the ball to Jamar Chase, so they're just going to give it to him here on the reverse and let him perform his magic. On 3rd and 18, Chase picks up the 1st down. The Bengals are facing 3rd down once again, though. Joe Burrow's going to have a nice clean pocket. Lets it go at the last second for maximum damage. T. Higgins makes the catch, and maximum damage it is. He gets all the way into the end zone as the 3rd quarter expires. Cincinnati retakes the lead at 21-17. The Browns offense is slowly moving along here in their own territory. Brissett's going to go to Amari Cooper. He's got to make a diving catch. That could have been an even bigger gain. But Cleveland has still gotten up to the 10-yard line. Facing a 3rd and 5, Brissett hangs in the pocket for too long. The Bengals take him down for the sack. That's Zachary Carter. And with 2 minutes left in the game, they don't seem to have a lot of faith in their offense. They're going to bring out the field goal unit to potentially cut this down to a 1-point lead. The Bengals almost block it, but Cade York is able to put it through the uprights. They have cut the lead down to 21-20. Surely they'll be going for the onside kick. They're kicking it away. Chris Evans back to receive. He's getting himself a pretty good return here. Has passed the 40-yard line before getting taken down. If the Bengals pick up a 1st down here, that might put the game away. Joe Burrow looks like he's going to scramble, but he stops and fires it to Joe Mixon inside the 15-yard line. They're going to go ahead and bleed some more clock before putting up another touchdown, and the Bengals win this one 28-20. Cleveland played that way too passively, but credit to the Bengals for taking advantage. They will take over the Browns' territory, and the last of our top 5 teams to take the field have gotten themselves on the board. It's time to get another new team on the field. The Saints are chosen on the wheel. They're heading into the territory of this season's best team so far, the Philadelphia Eagles. But this has been a tough game for them. They're trailing by 10 in the 4th quarter. Alvin Kamara gets the handoff from the 18-yard line. They've got him held up, but he breaks away and gets into the end zone for the touchdown. The Saints have a 31-14 lead. The Eagles, left shell-shocked, concede one more field goal. New Orleans goes to Philly and wins this one, 34-14. The Eagles had troubles with turnovers in this game, and they were beat up pretty good by Chris Olave. They also came out flat and uninspired, and when you play like that, you can lose to anybody. The Saints will take over their territory, now in complete control of the Southeast. Every single team remaining on this map has taken the field, except for the pesky Patriots. The Chiefs have already won twice this season, but this is their first time going on the attack, and they're going into New Orleans to face the Saints. They just took out one Super Bowl competitor. Can they take out the other? They're looking pretty good here, holding a 10-7 lead in the 2nd quarter. The handoff goes to Alvin Kamara. He's able to get around several tacklers for a nice gain here. The Chiefs catch up to him, but Kamara breaks away, and a nice gain turns into a 52-yard touchdown. The Saints have streaked ahead to a 17-7 lead. Now the Chiefs get one back. They're trailing 17-14. They're at the New Orleans 15-yard line. On the run, Patrick Mahomes is going to find the 2 inches of space that are available for Jerick McKinnon to make that touchdown catch. That's going to put Kansas City in the lead, and that broke the spigot. Kansas City scores the last 28 points of this game to come away with a 35-17 victory. The Saints sure gave it a shot, but they weren't able to pull off the double here. The Chiefs will now take over their territory, and they're officially cutting through the U.S. right now. So if they want to play in the Imperialism title game, they will have to play at least one more time. With this map, it's only heavyweight matchups going forward, and this is one heavyweight matchup. The Bengals are traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Kansas City beat Cincy in this year's AFC title game. The Bengals beat the Chiefs in last season's AFC title game, and in general have kind of had the Chiefs' number. Let's see how this game plays out. The Chiefs trail by 1 point in the second quarter. In their own territory, Juju Smith-Schuster gets the ball on the reverse, but Jesse Bates meets him there and knocks the ball loose. The Bengals recover and take it down to the 15-yard line. Starting with excellent field position here, you know they're looking for the end zone. They're going to come out throwing. Burrow has time, is going to look for Tyler Boyd. Makes the catch in traffic for the touchdown. Cincy extends out to an 8-point lead, but the Chiefs have plenty of time left in the half to get back on the board. From the Bengals' 40-yard line, the draw play to Isaiah Pacheco was blown up by Sam Hubbard, forcing yet another fumble that the Bengals recover. They've moved it to the 6-yard line, time ticking away in the half. Joe Mixon goes up the middle for the score, since he now has a 28-13 lead. They get the ball to start the second half and go on a long, time-consuming drive to score a touchdown, and from there they had a chokehold on this one, going into Kansas City and winning this game, 41-26. This was a battle of two top 5 teams, and the Bengals did rank out slightly higher than Kansas City, even though the Chiefs were Super Bowl champions. They will not get the Imperialism double, and they will also not go back-to-back in Imperialism, because the Bengals have now taken over their territory. We've now reached the Final Four, and the Bengals are in the same spot the Chiefs were in. They're definitely going to have to play once more in order to get to the title game. It's that time. The New England Patriots are ready to take the field in this season's Imperialism. They're headed to Buffalo, and while they're not at Buffalo's level this year, their last 2 games have both been exciting, with the Bills winning one by 2 points and another by 3 points. How will this one turn out? The Bills have taken their opening drive right down the field to the New England 5-yard line. Devin Singletary takes the draw and leaps into the end zone for the score. Buffalo has little problem here getting out ahead at 7-0. The Patriots have pulled back a field goal though, and they now have the ball in Buffalo territory. On 2nd and 14, the direct snap goes to Ramondre Stevenson, and he's able to pick up a nice run, getting the first down at the 10-yard line. The Pats will be looking to not settle for a field goal this time. Buffalo changes up their defense. Mac Jones throws into the end zone. Slot receiver Kendrick Bourne with the touchdown. The Patriots have taken the lead at 10-7. There's still some time left in the first half, and the Bills have taken it to the 18-yard line. 40 seconds and ticking. Gabe Davis will score this touchdown, keeping up his very solid Imperialism. Buffalo's going to take a 14-10 lead into the second half. With most of the third quarter having ticked away, the Patriots are at midfield. Buffalo looks like they want to bring the house. The Pats line holds up. The deep pass goes to Jacoby Myers. Goes up and makes the catch, taken down at the 25-yard line. We're now in the fourth quarter. The Pats face 3rd and goal from the 8. Jones wants to throw, wants to go again to Jacoby Myers, makes the catch, touchdown New England. They have taken a fourth quarter lead over the Bills in Buffalo at 17-14. The Bills offense kind of stagnant so far this half. From their own 26, getting Stephon Diggs involved, makes the catch for the first down. It's now 3rd and 4. This is prime Josh Allen territory. He will indeed keep it, going around left end, making a nice play before stepping out of bounds just inside the 30-yard line. Field goal range for sure, but they're certainly looking for 7. Lots of change on the line for the Patriots. This is a handoff to Devin Singletary, gets around 2 or 3 defenders, and drags his way to the 7-yard line. First and goal for Buffalo. 2:56 remains on the clock. Allen steps back, goes for Dawson Knox, makes the catch in traffic and jumps into the end zone. Touchdown, giving Buffalo the lead back at 21-17. The thing that has worked most for the Patriots in this game is throwing the ball to Jakobi Meyers. Jones is going to try this again, but this time, Kaiir Elam is there for the interception. With 2:19 left in the game, Buffalo has a chance to run down this entire clock. They get sacked on first down, and they're keeping it in the air. Allen has time, goes deep to Davis. The Pats don't look like they can catch him, but at the end they do at the 1-yard line, which is hugely important because the Bills are now going to have to settle for a field goal. Tyler Bass puts it up and in, but there's still time on the clock, and it's only a 7-point game. Marcus Jones receives this kickoff. He's got plenty of speed and he's not afraid to use it. He has a chance to take this all the way back. The Bills return the favor by catching him at the 6-yard line. So never mind having to go on a long drive, the Pats just got to punch it in from here. Jones is going to go to Myers. It's knocked away, incomplete. Now on second down, still needing those magical 6 yards. The Bills send a blitz, and it's Matt Milano from the inside getting the sack. Now it's third down from the 15. Jones is going to drop back to pass again. He's going to go to Myers, and this time it connects for the touchdown. 11 seconds left to go in the game. Do the Pats play with house money here and go for 2, or do they take the safe option and kick the extra point for overtime? They're gonna kick. Oh, wouldn't that have been something? Nick Folk out for the extra point. Daquan Jones is gonna try to block it, and he does! That's gonna make the Pats try an onside kick. The ball is loose, but Stephon Diggs falls on it for the Bills, using a little devil magic of their own, something they've been accustomed to being on the wrong side of, to win this game, 24-23. That's gotta be a sign that this is the year for the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't fluky, they blocked the kick on their own, but it's still quite amazing. They will take over the Patriots' territory, and now in 3 consecutive years, they've eliminated the Pats, beating them by 2 points, 3 points, and now 1 point. The Bengals have to play in the next game, and they're going to choose their own opponent. They're invading to the northwest. That's going to hit the territory of the Dallas Cowboys. That means for the first time since their 4 appearances during the 90s, the Buffalo Bills are going to play in the Imperialism title game. Are they going to play their rival from the 90s, the Cowboys, or their modern day rivals, the Bengals? We're going to get on the field and find out. The Cowboys use a strong second quarter to get this game tied at 14. Since he's looking to take control back, this touchdown pass from Joe Burrow to Hayden Hurst makes for a good start. That puts the Bengals back in the lead at 21-14. They now have it in the fourth quarter at the Cowboy 19-yard line. It's third and long. Of course, they're going to be throwing. Burrow looks toward the end zone. That's Jamar Chase making the touchdown catch. They haven't thrown the ball to Chase the way you think they would, but when they do, it works out. The Bengals now have control of the game and put their stamp on it even further by winning in the end, 35-17. And with that victory, they booked their place alongside the Bills in the Imperialism Championship game. Buffalo only has 1 title to its name, as does Cincinnati. So one of these 2 teams is getting number 2. Let's spin the wheel and find out who's going where. There goes the wheel, and it's just going to sneak into the portion belonging to the Buffalo Bills. So we've got to talk about this matchup. First, this is a rematch of the AFC divisional round where the Bengals defeated the Bills in Buffalo. This was the only time during the 2020s that someone other than the Chiefs eliminated Buffalo. This wasn't the only time these two teams squared off this season, though. Every team in the NFL this year played 17 complete games, except for the Bills and the Bengals. Their Week 16 Monday night matchup in Cincinnati made it just past the 9-minute mark of the first quarter when it was abandoned. If you don't recall why, let the name Damar Hamlin serve as your reminder. It's almost universally accepted that this was the right decision given the circumstances. But now, we've got this game not only in Imperialism, but for the Imperialism Championship. So let's get these guys on the field and find out whether the Buffalo Bills or the Cincinnati Bengals will be crowned as the kings of 2022 Imperialism. Cincy goes nowhere on offense to start the game, so they're forced to punt. Nyheim Hines is back to receive for the Bills, takes it at the 31-yard line, gets to about the 40 where the ball is stripped loose. It's eventually here going to be recovered by the Bengals. That's offensive lineman Lyle Collins running it back in for the score. So where the offense couldn't do anything, the special teams pick up the slack since he takes a 7-0 lead. Buffalo now has the ball, and they're just behind midfield, facing a 3rd and 4. Josh Allen doesn't seem interested in just 4 yards, though. Gabe Davis makes a diving catch, then gets up and avoids the tacklers to get into the end zone for the score. A spectacular play by Davis to tie this game up at 7 apiece. Chris Evans takes the ensuing kickoff for the Bengals, weaving in and out of attempted tackles by the Bills. He gets past the last wave, but they catch up to him quickly, a good 40-yard return. The first play after the return is a draw to Joe Mixon. He cuts through the middle, then goes to the outside, deftly dodging tacklers and getting taken down for 1st and goal. But the Bengals are now going to face a 3rd and goal. This is from the 9-yard line. Burrow looks into the end zone for Jamar Chase. He makes the catch for the touchdown. We are still in the first quarter. Cincinnati leads 14-7. Buffalo's now quickly moved into Cincinnati territory in the second quarter. Out of the shotgun, Josh Allen's going to try to scramble, but a nice tackle gets him down short of the first. Now on 3rd and 1, Allen looks like he wants to run again, but he'll throw. It gets batted down at the line, incomplete. And on 4th and 1, they're going to bring out the field goal unit. From 43 yards out, Tyler Bass is going to miss. So the lack of aggression here is going to cost the Bills. Since he takes over and they've just crossed the midfield, they have a 3rd and 1, and Joe Mixon gets stuffed. So they're going to punt it back to Buffalo. From the shadow of their own end zone at the 9-yard line, Devin Singletary's taking on a bigger role for this team, gets a nice run out to the 35. But once again on 4th and 1, Buffalo's just conceding. They're going to punt this ball away. It's almost blocked. It's going to land in Trent Taylor's hand. He's going to get a somewhat decent return. And after a high-scoring first quarter, we went scoreless in the second. Since he's got a drive going now into 3rd, it's on 3rd down. They try mixing up the middle. He is going to be stopped short. So they're going to bring out Money Mac himself, Evan McPherson, a 34-yard field goal attempt where Buffalo missed. Cincinnati makes. They've taken a 17-7 lead. Now Buffalo has it at their own 29-yard line. Singletary is a continuing factor, cuts to the outside, passes midfield, spins away, and picks up a 33-yard run. A loss of yardage on 1st down sets up a 2nd and 16. Josh Allen's just going to power through the middle, and that works. He's going to pick up another 30-yard plus run for the Bills, getting him down to the 13-yard line. The running game has been dynamic, and it's been working. From the 13, it looks like Allen wants to run again, but he'll stop and throw it to Isaiah McKenzie. Touchdown Buffalo. They're right back in this, cutting the lead down to 17-14. The Bengals are now putting a drive together, having gotten past midfield. Not too much time left in the third. Burrow's going to throw across the middle. Dangerous pass, but Tyler Boyd makes the catch. They get knocked back on first down, so on 2nd and 18, Burrow's going to look downfield again. This is T. Higgins. Makes the catch and hurdles the defender into the end zone. As the third quarter clock expires, they're back up by 10 points at 24-14. There's still some time left, but if Buffalo doesn't score on this drive, that might be it for them. This is a deep pass to Stephon Diggs. Makes the diving reception for the first down. Now on the next play, the Bills look to be in a very similar formation. Allen drops back, wants to go to Diggs again, and bang bang, that's a touchdown. So much for them not getting back into this one. It's now 24-21, but this kind of back and forth won't work. They're going to need a stop. Chris Evans on the kick return. He's had a nice day today, and he's doing it again, getting it just past midfield. They've now moved it to the 13-yard line. Burrow out of the shotgun goes to chase. That is another Bengals touchdown, and they're right back up to a 10-point lead. Buffalo's gonna, of course, need to respond here. They've got something going. They're just behind midfield. 2.5 minutes left in the game. Allen goes to Gabe Davis, makes another nice play, gets it inside the 30-yard line. Time isn't exactly Buffalo's friend here. Josh Allen's going to step back, surveys the field, will check it down across the middle to McKenzie, and he gets it to just outside the 10. They don't do much on first down. It's now second down. Allen is going to keep the ball. He's going to run with it. Heading toward the end zone. They stop him just short of the goal line. Now it is 3rd and 1, not 3rd and goal. It doesn't matter. Allen takes it in for the score. So once again, the ping pong ball moves, but once again, Buffalo remains down 3. They can't get a stop on defense, so maybe an onside kick is coming. It certainly is. That ball is bouncing around, but Tyler Boyd makes the recovery, giving Cincinnati a chance to kill off this clock. They lose 5 yards on first. On second, they run a reverse to T. Higgins. The Bills can't get to him, and Higgins is going to pick up the first down and quite a bit more. One more first down will probably get this deal done. It's 2nd and 6. They pitch it out to Joe Mixon. He's got the first and has a chance for the touchdown. It doesn't matter that he didn't get it. The Bengals will kill out the clock, and despite this final score being very close, at no point in this game did they ever trail. They defeat Buffalo 31-28. And with that victory, the Bengals become the team from our top 5 who got their redemption story. After a heartbreaking loss in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs, with a better team than they had the year before when they did make it to the Super Bowl, they get the job done here. Your 2022 Imperialism champions, the Cincinnati Bengals. We've seen in some recent Imperialisms where the 2 Super Bowl teams didn't perform all that well. That wasn't the case for the Chiefs and the Eagles, but it must be said that the way the Eagles went out creates some disappointment. They were both there for a while, but they couldn't make it to the end. Those spots were reserved for the Buffalo Bills and for the eventual champions, the Cincinnati Bengals. The number 4 ranked Bengals took down the top ranked Bills in what might only qualify as a minor upset. Since he brought along a solid roster in 2022, which we reiterate was better than the Super Bowl bound team in 2021. On offense, the Joe Burrow-Jamar Chase combination didn't always shine extremely brightly, but they did hook up for 2 touchdowns in the title game. In the meantime, the other offensive pieces contributed in major ways. This was also the one season where the Bengals' offensive line performed very well, led by Alex Kappa at guard and Jonah Williams at tackle. They had a lot of pieces defensively as well. A good D-line becomes great with the presence of Trey Hendrickson. It's a solid linebacker core as well, with Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson standing out amongst the NFL's most underrated players. And they still had the dynamic safety combination of Jesse Bates and Von Bell, along with a solid group of corners. The first half of games was characterized by many comeback attempts. A lot of these were unsuccessful, but the Buccaneers stealing a win from the Dolphins does stand out. Cleveland and Detroit was also quite the barn burner. The second half of games contained some heavyweight showdowns, with every single top 5 team making it to the final 8. The Bengals did so by not playing until that point, but once they did, no one was able to stop them. That comes to light when looking at the season standings. Cincy joined Dallas and Philadelphia with 4 wins each, but of course Cincy takes the top spot by never losing a game. 19 different teams went one and done, with only 6 teams winning exactly 1 or 2 games, not leaving much of a middle class here. In the overall standings, the Cowboys make a big move up the board, now sitting only 1 game behind the Steelers for the top spot. Pittsburgh had built an impressive lead, but if they don't start winning again soon, erosion will turn to disappearance. The Vikings, 49ers, and Rams are just outside the 80-win club, but they'll have 2 seasons to reach that coveted status. The New York Jets remain the worst overall team with just 26 wins across 57 seasons. Thank you so much for watching and for getting to this late point in the video. Take the time, if you would, to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you rang that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our future releases. Let's take one last look at this map of the United States with the logo of the Cincinnati Bengals sitting right in the middle. This 2022 team stands proudly beside the 1989 team, representing the franchise's 2 Imperialism championships. We've got 2023 just around the corner, and while the Bengals took a downturn that will make it tough for them to repeat, anything is truly possible. We look forward to having you here to see what they can do. Thank you once again for joining us today, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.